So by now, it's no secret that Winds and Waves is out in 2027. Gekwa is very likely based off the native geckos of our next region, inspired by Indonesia. Pombon is a Pomeranian mixed with a bonfire, not bonbons locked in, which is a popular dog breed in Indonesia that was bred from sled dogs. Don't you worry, I'll get to this guy eventually. But what about the grass-type starter Browt, the one that uses its eyebrow leaves to photosynthesize? What's his deal? Now how about some food for thought? Browt, a portmanteau of brow and bean sprout, is based off a nutritious legume by the classification of Ciceraritinum, or Phaeolus vulgaris, of the family Fabaceae, the subfamily Faboideae, with many names like gram, Bengal gram, chana dal, Egyptian pea, the garbanzo bean, or, of course, the chickpea. They are specifically a pulse, which is an edible, dried seed exclusive to the legume family, which also includes lentils, beans, and dry peas. They require less water to grow and emit less gases when planted. It is one of the earliest cultivated legumes, with the first coming from Syria, domesticated alongside wheat, barley, peas, and lentils during the first agricultural revolution. Its closest relative being Cicer reticulatum, the wild ancestor of the chickpea. That's native to southeastern Turkey, instrumental to adding the power of resisting pests and diseases, as well as other fun traits to its DNA. But how did chickpeas find themselves in Indonesia from Syria? Likely they got there via ancient maritime trade routes inspired by the spread of agricultural practices from the continent of India. That's right. You can add Browt to the list of imports from Poke India, alongside Cufant and Indian elephants, as well as mongooses like Yungoos, as they use chickpeas in salads, soups, stews, and curries. India specifically accounts for 75% of the chickpeas' overall production. The chickpeas grown in Indonesia are the result of 100 cultivars from Hawaii, the Netherlands, and Australia. Apparently, the name chickpea comes from bunches, which means beans. How quaint. But more likely it came from Cicer, from Latin, that sprouted around 700 BC after the Pelagians kicker, then bred into poi chiche and then chiche peas before settling on chickpeas. Garbanzo came from the Spanish, used as early as 1759. The term is believed to be derived from the old garbanzo, which in itself may have come from a Basque word meaning dry seed. In other words, it translates to dry seed beans. When domesticating chickpeas, there's selective breeding, as in selecting particular phenotype traits, aka characteristics, that help plants to become compatible, producing either varieties, cultigens, cultivars, or breeds. What was the most desirable for chickpeas were large palatable seeds that didn't have a dormancy period, having seeds that were easy to separate from the pods, with a predictable ripening period to allow a whole field to ripen at once. In addition, the domesticated form of the chickpea contains nearly twice the tryptophan of its wild form. That's an amino acid that has been connected with higher brain serotonin concentrations and higher birth rates alongside accelerated growth in humans and animals. As Theophrastus from Greece wrote in the Historia Plantarum as early as 350 to 287 BC, chickpeas differ in size, color, taste, and shape. There are the varieties called rams and vetch-like chickpeas, and the intermediate forms. The chickpea can be divided into three main types: Kabuli, which are large, beige, smooth, and common in the west; Desi, which are small and dark, which explains Browt's underside; and rough-coated, which are common in India and the Middle East. And the Bombay, or Bombay, known for their similar dark color to Desi, but have a larger size. The Desi chickpeas are nutty to the taste, rich in fiber, and used for making flour or split to make chana dal, a great source of plant protein, not complete, and a versatile ingredient in a number of sweet and savory dishes. The Kabuli chickpeas are creamy and buttery that could make falafel, those Israeli hot dogs, or, after soaking overnight, cold water please, you don't want to upset its hilum, and boiled with baking soda until they fall apart, as it's normally rock hard, you could create hummus, the popular Middle Eastern dip or spread made from chickpeas blended with tahini, that's sesame seeds paste, don't you know, lemon juice, sprigs of garlic, and olive oil with a pinch of salt. Tahini supplies the creaminess and nutty flavor, the lemon juice adds brightness and tang, garlic for a kick of pungency, olive oil added into the mix and used as a garnish, with a pinch of salt giving a little flavor, and slows the absorption of water into beans when it's boiled, of course. Cool, huh? Hummus came from the Levant region of the Middle East, which includes Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan, not to mention the land of the Philistines. The name is Arabic for chickpea, short for hummus, tahini, but it's ill-advised to eat it after 2 days. Why? It could bring about the bug of listeria, a nasty bacteria that's especially dangerous for pregnant women, very young kiddos, and even some older adults who have weakened immune systems. Listeria is unique as it breeds in colder temperatures, like the ones in the fridge, and can also be found in soil, water, and even contaminate foods like deli meats, unpasteurized dairy, and some raw produce. Oh goody. Symptoms include a fever and aching muscles, which can be treatable with antibiotics. Careful food handling is key. When you do have unaffected hummus, a serving equal to 2 tablespoons contains roughly 70 to 80 calories, 4 to 6 grams of healthy fat, 2 to 3 grams of protein, and 1 to 2 grams of fiber. It is low in saturated fat, free of cholesterol, and rich in essential minerals like manganese, iron, and folate. It helps lower the bad cholesterol, which is LDL, and reduces blood pressure. It helps maintain a steady energy flow and prevents blood sugar spikes. It also helps manage hunger and reduces an overall calorie intake. Chickpeas alone supply more than the aforementioned protein, fiber, manganese, iron, and folate. They also have copper. I'm sure Cufin would be happy to hear that. Zinc, magnesium, molybdenum, which rids the body of toxic sulfide buildups, and phosphorus, along with the bioactive compounds of tannins, saponins, and phytosterols, which oppose the chances of certain cancers and chronic diseases. It has specifically the highest soluble fiber of raffinose, that is actually a prebiotic that produces healthy gut bacteria. It also has insoluble fiber if you need some roughage. Be aware though, a lot of chickpeas in a can have a lot of sodium, just in case if that's a concern. That makes me wonder, is Browt's down infused with hummus, or is it just the Desi chickpea flour? We'll look at the evolutions when they come available, but in the meantime, we'll explore the rest of the flora fauna that we'll discover in the Indonesia and its archipelago of islands region. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe, and smash that bell to to get notifications from the channel where everything grows on you.